Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We ready to jump back into Wrath of the Righteous? Very possible we may finish this today. Maybe. Not getting my hopes up, but okay. So we need to do Camilla's side quests, but we need to level her up. Hmm. What are your dice? Probably last stand. Apparently we gave her abundant casting and enduring spells. Like approved abundant casting. Okay. Let's camp. Okay. Um. Hmm. Let's give her that. 35 AC. We don't really have a better headpiece for. Not really going to be using her that much, so that'll do. Who are you? Lady Camilla, welcome home. We've been expecting you. You've been expecting me? Indeed, my lady. Lord Gwyrm ordered that you be sent to him as soon as you arrived. The commander is permitted to follow you, but I must ask your other companions to wait here. Refreshments will be served. Camilla, what's going on? How curious. Horgus is here and waiting for me, but how did he know? Forgive me for being unable to answer your question, my lady. But those were the precise instructions I received from Lord Gwyrm this morning. Camilla, do you know this man? Never set eyes on him before. I took up my position here relatively recently. I was hired specifically to serve Lord Gwyrm at his mansion in Canabras. Why can't my companions come in too? Lord Gwyrm was most specific in his request. I'm afraid I cannot speak for his reasons. I can only assume that the conversation will be of a most delicate nature. Please, my friend, let's acquiesce to Lord Horgus's request. I don't wish to make a scene before I fully understand what's going on here. I see you managed to fully repair the mansion after the demonic evasion. Indeed, we have. Fortunately, the mansion was almost unharmed. Many items have survived the attack, and Lord Gwyrm was able to find comparable replacements for those that didn't. Fine, so where should we look for Horgus? Lord Gwyrm must be somewhere upstairs. He bid me say that Lady Camilla will have no trouble finding him. Please, do come in. I was not expecting this. I thought the mansion would be empty, picked to the bones by marauders, if it were still standing at all. But seeing it fully restored and inhabited, will it be extremely impolite to keep our host waiting? Wouldn't it, my friend? Let's go and have a chat with Daddy Dearest.
Let's see if I can sneak around.
Okay. Let's create a hard save here, just in case. The room of her mentor. This is the room of my first mentor. Take a look around if you want to. I'm sure you can find many of the curious tools and devices she used during our lessons. Camilla's personal quest. I take it you didn't like it. I remember them all. This one makes thin wounds on the skin like a razor blade, while one shreds skin to pieces. As for that one, the black one, doesn't leave any marks on the skin at all, but deals so much pain your head spins. Why was your mentor so cruel to you? I don't know. Perhaps the old hag was once trained in the same way, or perhaps she simply hated me. Besides, in her eyes, I was not the daughter of a noble family, but merely some urchin that honorable Horgus Gwyrm decided to take in off the street. Why did Horgus allow the Varisian woman treat you like that? She moved into this house a few years after my mother's death. Horgus often had to go out of Canabras on business, so he gave me into the care of that old shaman, hoping that she would teach me to keep the spirits on a short leash. That old hag must have known what she was doing was illegal. She was very good at hiding the evidence of her teaching. She always made sure to heal my scars by the time my father came back. Anyway, the Verizian didn't even last 3 months here. Oh, how she wheezed when I plunged my stiletto into her throat, and her eyes, shocked and terrified in equal measure. The old crone never suspected a 6-year-old girl could be capable of such a thing. How you doing, Luna? Why is Horgus still keeping all these things around? Because I asked him to. I want to remember the pain. Both the pain the Verizian dealt to me and the pain I paid back to her. The hatred I felt towards her lives in me to this day. Every time I enter this room, my hands start to tremble and my heart pounds as if it's trying to jump out of my chest. Doing good? Hell yeah. All right.
Let's see if I can sneak around. Beautiful.
And it's the same thing we saw the first time we were here. To the garden. The basement. As the saying goes, every family has a skeleton in its closet. In my case, all the skeletons are hidden in the cellar. This place holds a special significance for me, because this is where I killed those thugs who tried to rob Horgus's mansion. They were caught by the guards, and I sacrificed them to Mira. This is where they're buried. Still find it hard to believe that Horgus allowed you to kill people just like that. I think he had no choice. He could not cure me of the spirit's influence, no matter how hard he tried. Nor could he hand me over to the authorities of Canabras, because then I should have certainly declared myself to be his illegitimate daughter and revealed all his secrets to the world. That would have stained the glorious name of Horgus Worm, that my papa values even more than his own life. Right on, Luna. Suppose he could have killed me and buried me right here in the cellar. I have no idea why he didn't do it while I was a little girl and he could overpower me. Nevertheless, I can assure you that all my victims buried here were hardened criminals and thugs. No one shed a tear when they never returned from the Gurm mansion that night. So how many skeletons are buried in this cellar? Oh, not as many as you may have assumed. Just the 2, not counting the Verizian. Camilla's gaze wanders without stopping on anything in particular. Seems she is remembering, reliving all the sacrifices made here.
Let's see if I can sneak around.
Okay.
Let's...
Ah, camellias. I see they never stop blooming. On my father's orders, the garden must have camellias in bloom all year round. Whatever the season, no matter whatever the weather. Why does he even bother, do you think? Is this a grave? You're right, but it wasn't that hard to guess, was it? This is the grave of my mother, Iris. She died when I was a child, so I scarcely remember her. I don't understand. Why would Horgus tend this grave all these years? Why would he plant camellias all over it? My father was never shown any tendency towards sentimentality. I hate these flowers.
Here we go.
Okay. Let's go upstairs.
All right.
Welcome to my room, my friend. I was about to apologize for the mess, but it appears the servants were ordered to clean this room. Well, do you have anything to say about the place where I spent my formative years? There are bars on the windows. They were always here. I moved into this room immediately after my mother died, and this is where I stayed, leaving it only on rare occasions. I suppose my darling papa was afraid that I would slip out without him knowing. Foolish man. If I had ever really wanted to escape, no bars on the windows could have held me. This bed looks too big for a child. Never thought about it. This bed was mine from the very beginning, as well as the countless dresses in the closet, bouquets of flowers on the windowsill, and the sumptuous meals the servants used to bring me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and any time I wanted in between. I suppose the servants must have been whispering about me in dark corners, trying to understand why this strange girl was living here in the lap of luxury. Although I never cared much about their gossip. Besides, Horgus changed servants as often as he changed his gloves, so none of the staff were ever here for very long. So many books. Always loved reading. Books opened entire new worlds to me. I could visit them without ever leaving my chair. There's a hefty-looking lock on the door. Only Horgus himself and the mansion's head guard had a key to this lock. Even the servants had to call one of them to open the door so they could bring in my lunch. Sometimes I was allowed to leave the room, to take a stroll in the garden, or to attend a fencing class with a specially hired teacher. Sometimes Horgus even took me out into the city, where there were festivities, or if a trade caravan had arrived from faraway lands. But every time he did it, he made me promise that I would keep within 10 paces of him at all times. A promise. As if that could ever stop me. You live like a bird in a cage. A gilded one, but still a cage. That's true, but this cage suited me perfectly. Freedom is always romanticized in the books and songs. Artists love to glorify it, but none of them live in penury. Penury? I don't know that word. What is penury? Extreme poverty. Most of them live in penury. Penury? Let's see. Will it sound it out for me?
Penury.
Penury. They are beautiful ideals, to be sure, but I would happily read about them after yet another delicious dinner, ensconced in my soft, warm bed. Okay. Amulet we can't identify yet. We're sure to find Horgus and his secret study. Before we enter, I should like to ask you one question, if you don't mind. You know our family's history better than anyone else in the world. Tell me, what do you think of Horgus as a father? He's not the best, but not the worst either. I'm sure he tried his best. So that's what you think. Why are you asking? No special reason. I just wanted to know your opinion on my father before you meet him face to face. Well, hello, Father. Hello, Camilla. So you finally came. You even dragged the commander along. I suspected that you wouldn't come here alone. You know, I've been wondering when you would finally show your face here. Haven't always thought that it's extremely impolite. Haven't I always taught you that it's extremely impolite to be late for an appointment? Papa, you stink. I believe you'll forgive me this weakness under the circumstances. And if you don't, you can always leave. I won't stop you. The door is right over there. What did you do after I left for the Abyss? I left Dresden as soon as the Queen took hold of the reins of government. Of course, I highly respect our dear Galfrey, but it was you I had followed into the crusade, not her. For whatever reason, I do not believe our Queen will succeed in her attempts to defeat the wound, so I moved to Nerosian while my mansion in Canabras was under renovation. But none of that matters anymore, does it? You're expecting us. This isn't a chance meeting? It was not you I was expecting. Although, I thought you might put in an appearance. No, I was waiting for Camilla. Some time ago, I received a letter from my beloved daughter, in which she invited me to meet her here in my mansion in Canabras. Came as quickly as I could. I've been here for several days now, waiting for my dearest daughter to arrive. Don't tell me you knew nothing about this meeting. Could it be that my sweet girl has wrapped you around her little finger, that she tricked you into coming here to watch the spectacle unfold? The little minx. He gesticulates wildly, spilling half the contents of his goblet on the floor. Came here to help Camilla talk to the spirits. They didn't expect to meet you here. Surprised, were you? As for me, I knew the moment I received her letter why she wanted to meet with me. She wants to talk to the spirits, does she? How can you have spent so much time with my talented daughter without realizing that whenever Camilla wishes to talk to a spirit, it always involves murder? I have no idea what kind of spirit she has in that bone trinket, but why would it want so much blood? You do know that Camilla killed 5 people while she lived under this roof, don't you? First, her mentor, an old Varisian woman, then 4 more. Well, they were thugs, bandits, and murderers. They had it coming, to tell the truth. They broke into this mansion seeking to rob us. That's Canabras for you. A border city with all kinds of riffraff lurking about. My guards caught them, tied them up, and tossed them in the cellar. They never reported the break-ins to the authorities. Why bother? Those thugs would have been executed anyway. Ulrin always made short shrift of such rabble. But the things Camilla did to them down in the cellar, I never saw it myself. I only heard it. And then later, when I buried the corpses, I felt relieved that I was not in their place. Camilla remains silent. Only the sound of her labored breathing indicates that she's still here. Why did you condone Camilla's inclinations? Why did you protect her secret? Why did you cover up the murders? Camilla is the daughter of Horgus Worm, a true daughter, my blood. Though I may have concealed that fact from society. Yes, she is special. Unusual, very sensitive to the world around her. Whose fault is it that the damn spirits drove her insane? I know nothing about spirits. I've never talked to them myself. But Camilla, she's naturally gifted. She understands them. She says we have a chance to learn how to close the world wound once and for all. This end justifies all means, doesn't it, Commander? What's a father to do? The bloodline of Hargus Worm cannot be broken. And I have no other heirs. Camilla, what's going on? She remains silent. You can't see her face, but you hear her breathing, shallow and fast. Her shoulders are rising and falling jerkily, and her right hand is trembling. Camilla, explain. Camilla jolts slightly and turns to you. Her eyes seem to look right through you. Her lips are parted and her rasping breath reminds you of an animal's growl. Her right hand is clutching a thin stiletto that seems to have come out of nowhere. Isn't it obvious? She's finally come to take my life. I've been waiting for this moment since the day it all began. I knew it would come. Of course, I had hoped that Camilla would placate her spirit somehow, or perhaps that the commander could close the world wound and put an end to all these sacrifices. But it's too late for that now. I am ready to die. My whole life is a lie. It does not even feel like mine, but someone else's. I did everything I could to ensure the name of Hargus Worm would go down in history and his bloodline live on. I've had to lie and cover up crimes along the way. Well, the time has come to pay the piper. And if my death helps to uncover the secret of closing the world wound, well, it's not the worst way to go. But before you do what you came here to do, Camilla, let me reveal my final secret to you. Talk. Your mother, Iris, genuinely loved you, Camilla. But after she saw how you killed that pup in the garden, she started to worry about you. It was she who insisted on the doctors and the psychics and the exorcists. They all examined you, but nothing helped. You kept on killing animals, neighboring cats, stray dogs. You told us stories about the spirits who whispered in your ear. Iris didn't believe you really had a special ability to communicate with spirits. She didn't think you were gifted, but I did. As if the daughter of Hargus Worm would be no more than a lunatic. Several years passed like that, several grueling years. For Iris more than myself. And then one night, I entered your room and I saw Iris leaning over your bed with a pillow in her hands. I pushed her away from you. It was dark. Iris stumbled and she hit her head on the corner of a cabinet. I buried her in the garden and planted a flower bed of camellias over her grave. I thank the gods that you remembered nothing of that horrible night, and now you know everything, Camilla. Did you kill Camilla's mother? It was an accident, but I was prepared to do it, and I would do the same again if I had to. The bloodline of Hargus Worm cannot be broken. Forgive me, Camilla. Forgive me for keeping you locked away. Forgive me for never acknowledging you as my daughter. Forgive me for depriving you of your mother and never being able to replace her. Now I've said everything. I am ready. You killed my mother? And you decided to tell me that now? Why? To unburden your soul? To show me how you protected me back then? Maybe you're hoping I'll hesitate before I stab you in your disgusting heart? Or are you trying to weep for my mother, the innocent victim? Well, I don't give a damn about her. The bitch wanted me dead and she failed. Good riddance, I say. I don't give a damn about you either, Hargus Worm. I don't care about your bloodline or any excuses that you can come up with. Do you really think that I couldn't have escaped your mansion if I wanted to? You never acknowledged me as your daughter. 'Twas no skin off my nose. You wanted to marry a noble woman to continue the Gorm line? Well, that was your own affair. You provided it for me and didn't try to stop me from communing with the spirits. I never wanted anything more from you. But now I don't need you anymore. I have Drast, who will protect me and hide me from justice if it comes for me. As for you, you're just garbage left over from my former life. It's time to dispose of you. Camilla, stop. The spirits crave his blood. I crave his blood. Together, we have sealed his fate. You shouldn't kill him. No matter what he's done, he's still your father. The stiletto in Camilla's hand flies up and freezes in front of Horgus Gorm's heart. A moment passes, then another. Finally, Camilla exhales loudly and lowers her weapon. Leave. Get out of my life, Horgus Gorm. Horgus opens his mouth to say something, but immediately shuts it without a single word. He lingers for a moment, then nods briefly and leaves. It's all over now. I've rid myself of the past. I suppose I should feel happy. Why then do I feel so tired? It was all over too quickly, don't you agree, my friend? As if something was missing. It's like having sex without climaxing. The end result is naught but exhaustion. Let's have some more fun, shall we? Why didn't you tell me that Horgus would be waiting for us in Canabras? I just didn't. Perhaps I wanted to surprise you. Perhaps I was worried you wouldn't talk to me. You'd try to talk me out of it. So you're ready to talk to Mira now? No, not quite yet. But don't worry. I should be ready soon. Just one last step. One final drop. Did Mira really crave Horgus's blood? Or was it you who wanted it? Yes and yes. Mira and I are one. Her desires are my desires. We have become quite inseparable at this point. What did you have in mind? I want to make up for lost time, to let loose like never before, to celebrate my ultimate liberation. There are an awful lot of servants in this mansion. Let's gather them all in the garden and feed Mira with their blood together, you and I. What do you say? I've never done this with another person before, until now. You've only been an observer, and I want my first time to be with you, my friend. Jesus. A little psycho. Camilla, stop. You've killed enough. What right do you have to tell me what to do? I did not break free from Horgus's tyranny only to surrender to yours. I'm free now and shall do as I please. Besides, it's Mira's will. A paltry 10 servants, and we shall be able to get through to her at last. The price is reasonable. I'll do it, but only for the sake of closing the world wound. This will be unforgettable.
Let's see.
Very much insane. You're all fired. Well, I at least get my week's wages. No one will leave empty-handed.
Save the last one for me.
One way to do it.
I suppose we are done here. We certainly had a good time, didn't we? Did you like it, my friend? It was a little different from my usual sacrifices to Maria.
Maria.
But mass murder does
mispronouncing
have
that.
its own appeal. It's wild, primordial, unbridled. You felt it too, didn't you? The exhilaration. You know, I suppose you deserve a confession. I have never said anything like this to anyone before. Are you ready? Steel yourself. You are the best friend I could ever hope to have. You understand me. You help me. You are
And here you see why I call her
the
Miss Lunatic.
best thing that has happened to me in my entire life.
Say nothing.
You know, now that we're so close, I wish to confess something else to you. Are you ready? There is no Maria. I made her up.
Excuse me? Why?
Isn't it obvious? To have a reasonable explanation for all the murders. So that my protector would be too busy thinking of our bright future to lecture me on morality and decency.
Irredeemable psychopath. Agreed.
I like to kill. I don't simply want it. I need it. It is something deep within me. My desire is like an annoying fly buzzing around a room. One that cannot be seen or swatted away. But the deaths of enemies on the battlefield don't bring me any relief. It comes only with the deaths of those who considered me a friend.
Well, then you're a threat to
The deaths
me.
must be unexpected, so that I can see the disbelief and dread in my victim's eyes. But I am a clever girl. I know that society would never condone my unconventional desires. So I invented a nice story that I could feed to those who would protect me from society. As you may have noticed, my lie has worked remarkably well.
So when you asked me to come here so you talk to Maria, that was a lie?
Of course it was. After you and I visited the brothel in Alashanira, I felt an unexpected and overwhelming desire to see my dear sweet papa. So as soon as we returned to Dresden, I made some inquiries and learned that he had moved to Nerosian. I sent him a letter inviting him to meet me at his mansion in Canabris, and that's when I asked you to accompany me. I decided it would be best not to disclose the true purpose of our visit to you. If you had known that Horgus would be waiting for us here, you might have discerned my intentions. And you believed my lies. You wanted to believe that story because it sounded so pretty. So I'll take your words as a compliment.
Why have you decided to tell me now?
Ah, that's a good question. You would have learned the truth sooner or later, you know. I've told you too many stories about Maria. You never would have let the matter lie. Of course, I could have left. Fled in the dead of night, leaving you a farewell note. But I like traveling with you, my friend. I like
Jesus
feeling
Christ.
the power you've shared with me. That is why I decided to take the risk and open up to you.
Where do you draw your power from then?
I draw it from the spirits, just like all shamans do. Spirits surround us. They are everywhere, even within the world wound.
Hey, M6.
Only they never beg me to save them or try to tell me how to heal Sakoris.
Doing all right. How's New World doing? Not too shabby. Me and Ego switched companies the other day, and we actually have a war tonight to try to take a territory for said company. The only upside of this is that after this quest, you can finally use her next slot. Honestly, I kind of want to kill her now, Luna.
To be honest, I couldn't care less about Sakoris, the World Wound, or the Crusade. My sphere of interest lies elsewhere.
What's the story behind your amulet?
This? Once a snake crawled into our garden. I killed it, gutted it, dried out its bones, and then I told Horgus about Maria and asked him to decorate the amulet with gold and make it into a necklace. Despite its mundane origins, it is now imbued with magic that hides me from the prying eyes of Iomede's paladins and inquisitors. Daddy Dearest was quite insistent on that point. Clearly, he feared that if I were ever caught, I would reveal all the dirty secrets of the Gwyrms to the world. But now that I'm with you, I have no need of this amulet anymore. Do I? No one would dare lay a finger on a companion of the Crusade Commander.
Heard enough.
Is the interrogation over? Good. I was beginning to feel rather bored. So, what is your verdict, my friend?
I kind of want to kill her now.
So that's your decision. Well, you can give it a try, my friend.
Known to cause issues.
The heartbeat quickens.
I got this.
Psycho. I mean, is there any point to taking it if it has been fixed? It's a void encrusted necklace with rare enchantments on it, so it's worth a pretty penny. You could give it to Horgus if he's in Canabras. We'll risk it. Not that I even need money at this point. I mean, where would I find him in Canabras? I mean, the inn isn't there anymore. And Dresden? He left Dresden, but I don't know if he goes back there after that encounter. That little psycho. Jesus. Gave it to him in chapter 3. Wow, you finished up her story quick then. Or did you just kill her off quick? You can offer in chapter 3 when you catch her with a crusader. True. Let's see if he goes back to Dresden. I guess we don't need to go back there to teleport, do we? Yeah. He would probably be around there. But given what he told us, I imagine he's in Nerosian, not here. But yeah, doesn't look like he went back here. It turned down the volume on that one. Jesus Christ, that's loud. What's up, Ego? Okay. Hopefully that volume's better. But yeah, he's not here. It's quiet for you. It's really loud for me. Weird.
Let's see if I can sneak around.
Sells for 125 gold. Not so much.
Let's see if I can sneak around.
All right. Let's go rest. move on. Wait, did I not sell it? Can't remember if I actually did sell it. Did not. Voracious Spirit. Whenever the wearer of this amulet lands a killing blow, she gains one of the following stacking bonuses until the next rest. Okay. That's pretty dope, actually. Hmm. Okay. Just for the cold iron, we'll keep that.
Let's see if I can sneak around. Let's see if I can sneak around.
Yeah, you go. I must have gotten rid of that ring at some point because I don't think I have it. Which is unfortunate. Several soldiers returned from the battlefield poisoned. The alchemists claimed that their bodies contain a unique poison. It must be extracted along with the blood, because the poison will be ruined after the person's death. Healers, however, are asking that Commander give the victims a chance to be saved. Save the afflicted. Hey, lady. How you doing? Just yesterday I got the final mask, so I haven't done that yet. I haven't solved all the puzzles yet either, which is kind of what we're going to be working on today. Getting that done, then going to Iz. Sergeant's happy with your ankle. Nice. Does that mean you're done with PT, or he's just happy with the progress? Oh, we didn't rest. Whoops. And we still have to do the Trickster quest where we have to face Naticula. That was kicking our ass last time we tried.
never shooed me from the temple steps. And once, you gave me a whole loaf of bread.
A
And
whole
I
loaf?
let you keep sleeping on the street. Forgive me, Ember. I did nothing for you when you needed my help.
You just said you helped her. Getting close to level 20. City in the Wasteland. It is a warm, sunny day in the Wound, perhaps too warm and sunny. Sicorian wastelands are roasting in the heat of the purple shimmering sun. Even the demonic plants are unable to survive here. It is suffocating the red dust of the plains. A hot wind sweeps across the wastelands, leaving the commander with the taste of ash and sulfur in his mouth. The commander can see for miles around in every direction. If there were any enemies nearby, they would not be able to sneak up on him unnoticed. However, it does not look like anyone has survived the excruciating heat in the Wound. The only sign of life is the sound of insects buzzing nearby. Their chittering noises sound like harsh, rasping laughter. The heat causes the air to shimmer slightly, and through the haze, the commander notices the walls of a city rising up a short distance from the road. Is this a lost Sicorian city, a demonic trap, or just a trick of the mind? The walls look real, but perhaps they're only a mirage. The commander realizes that it is impossible to tell from this distance, so he decides to explore the mysterious city. The walls are partially partially buried in red sand, and as the commander draws closer, he realizes that this is not a city, but the sun-bleached remains of a Sicorian settlement. The buzzing grows louder, and the commander can see the Vescivores perched on the stone slabs as they bask in the sun. The husks of their dead kin crunch beneath the commander's feet with every step. The commander notices rotten wooden pillars covered in faded Sicorian runes. The tops of the pillars have been gnawed into sharp points, making them look like long wooden stakes. The highest of these pillars seems to be a signpost in the middle of what used to be a busy crossroad. The passage of time has worn away all but 3 words on the signpost: square, marketplace, and gem. The commander decides to try and identify the city using his knowledge of Sicorian history. Drast looks around and recognizes the surrounding streets. He has seen them depicted in some ancient maps. The drawings on the walls depict horses and herds of sheep, offering further confirmation of the commander's theory. This is Domora, the city of herdsmen that was lost a long time ago. The commander recognizes the majestic temple of Gazra that towers over other buildings. This temple used to be a local landmark and attracted countless pilgrims. The underground aqueducts built under the temple supplied the city with drinking water sourced from a lake that has long since dried up. The commander is sure that this is Domora, but its appearance here is inexplicable. The city of Domora was located far away on the western border of ancient Sicoris. However, there are many strange phenomena and anomalies in the World Wound. This must simply be one of them. Search for the Queen. Lan examines the houses closely. It looks like a battle took place here. The walls of the houses have been damaged or destroyed, and all that's left of the roofs are a few wooden beams. When the commander turns his attention to the insects, he notices that all the Vescivores seem to be flying in a single direction toward the city square. Go to the square. The winding street that leads to the square is lined with partially destroyed houses. Many of them only have 3 walls, and others are nothing more than piles of rubble. The commander notices more and more Vescivores flying around, and the air is filled with a strange, acrid smell. The square is completely empty, but the doors of Gazra's temple swing open. A woman emerges through them and begins to limp towards the commander. She is stripped to the waist, and it looks as though insects are squirming beneath her skin. Livor mortis has discolored her withered, shriveled flesh, turning it into a blotchy purple color. She opens her mouth to speak, but the words come out in a low buzz that is neither masculine nor feminine. Or Basavor welcomes you, esteemed guest. Make yourself at home. The woman falls silent and collapses to the ground. A small swarm of Vescivores flies out of her motionless corpse. The insects hover near the commander as if waiting for him to follow them. Follow the swarm. The swarm flies through the air unhindered by the obstacles on the ground. The commander has to climb over debris and walk through partially collapsed buildings to follow the buzzing insects. Finally, the swarm flies down into a blissfully cool dark hole beneath the walls, one of the walls. It does not look large enough for a person to fit through. The commander decides to. Len feels along the side of the walls and finds a hidden door. He presses a nearby stone, triggering a mechanism that causes the door to swing open with a creaking sound. The cool, damp air of the underground passage feels good against the commander's hot skin, but the chittering of the Vescivores becomes even more intense. The commander finds himself in a labyrinth of underground passages. These are obviously not natural caverns, although the stonework of the underground aqueduct, quite a rarity for Socorus, is almost completely hidden under a layer of swarming Vescivores. The walls, the ceiling, and the floor squirm and move like the bowels of a living creature. The insects block all the passages except for one. This passage is growing smaller by the minute, prompting the commander to move faster. The passage ends abruptly, and the commander finds himself staring into a huge well. The passage is dimly lit, but the bottom of the well is lost in impenetrable darkness. This could be the area beneath the water tower, but it's impossible to know for sure without a map of the city's underground passages. The well is filled with the sound of buzzing Vescivores, and the commander can smell their sweet scent wafting up from the darkness. The smell reminds him of the sweet caramel sold at Canabras' city festivals. Memories of that day came flooding back. For a moment, the commander feels as though he's back in the town square, as if, in answer to his thoughts, the giant figure of Descari rises up from the depth of the well. Suddenly, a crossbow bolt pierces the demon lord, and the figure dissipates into thousands of swarming Vescivores. Both Descari and the bolt were formed out of insects. More scenes flash before the commander's eyes. Ash and smoke fill the skies during the battle for Dresden, leaving a sour taste on the commander's tongue. Both familiar and unfamiliar people and places appear for a moment and then vanish. It is as if some unknown creature is trying to see into the commander's mind and access his memories. Yet the creature seems tentative and cautious, almost as if it is seeking the commander's permission. Sure. The commander allows the swarm to enter his mind, and suddenly has a vision that feels so real it's almost like a memory. The commander is standing in Dresden, or is it Canabras? Maybe even Nerosian. We've never been to Nerosian, how can we have that memory? In the vision, he is watching the sunset over the city of Dresden, or Canabras, or Nerosian. A priest of some unknown deity approaches the commander. The commander isn't sure if it's a man or a woman, has no face. There is only a mouth where the face should be, and when the mouth speaks, its words sound like the buzzing of thousands of insects. We are Verbovesor. Verbovesor has heard about the one who defeated the mighty demon lords. It harbors a special hatred towards Descari and would like to know more about his weaknesses. It wishes to fight the demon lord and defeat him. What do we do here? We'll keep out some of the key details. Day passes into night, and night becomes day. Urbo Vesor thanks the commander politely for telling the truth and promises to help the commander in battle if he continues to be a good ally. Urbo Vesor assures the commander that it will remember his scent and come when it is needed. The commander chooses to. I mean, help is help, right? Eh. One. Yeah, but I'm not evil. I'm not good either. I'm neutral. What's up, Accord? Reject the offer. The commander gave the swarm the information it wanted. The Vescivores will not stand in its way. The swarm bids the commander farewell and flies back down the well. The commander is free to leave. After being in the cool air underground, the heat outside feels even more unbearable. The eyes of the city's residents are fixed on the commander. When the commander glances around at these silent onlookers, he feels an overwhelming desire to burn this place to the ground. The commander sets the city ablaze, but he makes sure that no harm comes to the Temple of Gojra at its center. No one tries to extinguish the fire. The Vescivores leave their shelters of flesh behind and fly away in all directions. The rotting corpses turn into ash. The walls are covered in soot. As the roaring inferno subsides, the crackling of the flames is replaced by another sound. The sound of running water. Streams of clear water flow out from beneath the door of Gojra's temple and cascade down the entrance steps. The underground stream that has bubbled up to the surface signals the return of the deity who once presided here. The commander feels the touch of Gojra's blessing. A gust of fresh air gently caresses his face. Damara has been freed. The city is no longer a Vescivore trap. See, that was the right choice. Is your wife more of a vet than you, that she takes care of an old dog like yourself? I'm gonna go with yes.
I can handle it.
Ooh, Baylor's. Ooh, and we're exhausted. Fantastic.
We'll make things right.
Yes. Listano Danyang. Aborane Sendes. Irimosi Travisi. Ona Adayana.
This war must end.
Well, the wife is out of town currently, so right now she's not taking care of me. So I'm kind of like swinging in the wind, if you will. Oh, We are so out of place. Lands in the front. That's bad. Ow.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel. Did you see that?
Crit for 172. Whoa. Hello.
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
Damn. Ember's already dead.
No glory without risk.
This is not my time yet.
She was snuffed out. Don't need to know if you're swinging in the wind. Hey, cameras from the like waist up. I mean, there's a whole lot of things going on waist down. So cameras nips up. True. I need like a mass res ability.
Patricium Turinos!
I'm getting my ass
Leave me
kicked.
alone.
Simply business.
Rude. All right, we need to reload that and like redo our positioning, our formation, because that's not good. Don't be that guy that forgot he was naked waist down during a meeting, got up, forgot to turn his camera off. Well, actually, I have a under the desk camera, but that's for tier 4 subs only, and it goes directly to the OnlyFans. Mm-hmm.
Rules are made to be
Avronda Gratior!
Let's do that. There's something else. This.
Ona Adayana! Inimosi Travisi! Inimosi Travisi! Inimosi Travisi! Inimosi Travisi! Inimosi Travisi! Inimosi Travisi! Ona Adayana!
Okay. Why are you all... What? Sela goes up here. What the fuck is going on here? There we go. Bad gremlin. That hurt.
I got this.
Simply business.
And they're dead.
Fabrizio Turinos!
You grabbing your credit card. I mean, I need to set up a camera in the back that we can just kind of just slide it. All right, let's hit it with a maximized hellfire. Not bad, considering.
It's your time to cease to exist.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Oof.
Fabrizio Turinos!
Ooh, big ol' whip.
Damn you!
Now I know what upgrades you got in Cyberpunk. Whatever do you mean? And here comes the winged beasts. Okay.
The light take you!
Laborane Sentes!
Are you still here?
Well, he only missed that many times because we had the power shot, I believe it was called. Or the deadly aim or whatever. Can't remember what it's called. But it gives him a negative to hit. But it increases his damage. It's the only reason he missed as many as he did.
Teal! Boas! Teal!
Deadly aims. Yeah.
You're in my way.
I really hate things that I have to hit a natural 20 to hit.
You won't survive me.
Oh, horrible rolls. Jesus. Needed a 7 to hit. Let's see. Puts them too much in danger.
Magritio, Turios.
Get out of here.
Good guys always win.
Instead of a D20, what you got?
You had your chance.
The D Drast line. Jesus Christ, you swing horribly. Age of Empires time? Good luck.
Magritio, Turinos.
Crush Giants.
I got this.
Simply business.
Beautiful.
It's your time to cease to exist.
Did you see that?
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
Damn you!
See ya.
Are you still here?
Sent him flying.
You're in my way.
Endure this!
That's better. You actually go in prepared. Sturdy Snoot. Plus 12 on athletics and mobility. And if worn by an animal companion, gains plus 3 dodge to AC for ranged attacks. Okay. There's going to be our tiles. Oh, Luna, are you here? Had a question. Picked up a strange item yesterday, and I have no idea what it is. Let's see. Yeah, it's these full containers and 1/3 full containers. I haven't. Its purpose is a mystery. Found it in the Laughing Caves. Wondering if you knew what they were for. Got a full container, 1/3 full, and several. We have 4 full containers, 4 2/3. So in theory, we can pour. Okay. A strange container with a blue liquid, emanating unknown magic.